Hello, everyone. Miss Debbie here to bring you 3 stories this week, this beautiful week in September, as summer is winding down and autumn is beginning with all its fun activities like pumpkin picking and apple baking, and what else do we do in the fall? Shuffle through leaves and start wearing warm, colorful clothes. So let's enjoy ourselves with some stories today. Okay, our first story is one of my favorites, Bark George by Jules Feiffer. I had a dog named George once, and he was a black lab. Maybe you have a dog too. What's your dog's name? You should let me know. Maybe we could read a book about your dog. Bark, George. That's his mother. Um, this is by HarperCollins Publishers. George's mother said, I gotta get the spread here. George's mother said, "Bark, George." And George went, "Meow." "No, George," said George's mother. "Cats go meow, dogs go arf. Now bark, George." And George went, "Quack, quack." "No, no, George," said George's mother. Look at the look on her face. "Ducks go quack, quack. Doggies go arf. Now bark, George." And George went, "Oink." Can you say that word, oink? "No, George," said George's mother. "Oh, my goodness. Pigs go oink and dogs go arf. Now bark, George, please." And George went, "Moo." George's mother took George to the vet. "I'll soon get to the bottom of this," said the vet. "Please bark, George." And George went, "Meow." The vet put on his rubber gloves and reached deep down inside of George, and he pulled out a cat. Whoa. "Bark again, George." And George went, "Quack, quack." The vet reached deep, deep down inside of George and pulled out a duck. This is amazing. "Bark again, George." George went, "Oink." The vet reached deep, deep, deep down inside of George and pulled out a pig. Bah. "Bark again, George." And George went, "Moo." The vet put on his longest latex glove. Then he reached deep, 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 deep down inside of George. Look at his mother. She doesn't want to look. And pulled out a cow. And his mother fainted. "Bark again, George." Whew, that was hard work. "Bark again, George." And George went, "Arf." And the vet and his mommy were so happy. George's mother was so thrilled that she kissed the vet and the cat and the duck and the pig and the cow. On the way home, she wanted to show George off to everyone on the street. So she said, "Bark, George." And George went, "Hello." What does that mean? That's the cutest book. I love to do this in story time. Won't you come to some of our story times? Just check our schedule online or in the library, and you'll see when we have so many things going on. All right, that's Bark George. Here's another animal that misplaced her own voice. It's called The Cow Who Clucked by Denise Fleming. Right? Now we know that cows go moo. And do you know what animal goes cluck? All right. So, In her dream, Cow is dreaming that she's a chicken or a hen or a rooster. The Cow Who Clucked, written by Denise Fleming, also illustrated by Denise Fleming, and published by, who published this book? Henry Holt and Company. Here's the rooster. Cock-a-doodle-doo! Do you have roosters in your neighborhood? Roosters are fun. They start cock-a-doodling when it's still dark out. One morning, Cow woke up to find she had lost her moo. The first thing I must do, said Cow, is to find my moo. She woke up and she said, cluck. When Pig said, oink, good morning, Cow said, cluck. And off she went to find her moo. Cow met Dog. Cluck, cluck, said Cow. Arf, arf, said Dog. It is not you who has my moo, said Cow, and on she went. They're behind a haystack. Cow stopped to nibble grass. Cluck, cluck, said Cow. Buzz, buzz, said Bee. It's not you who has my moo, said Cow, and on she went. Cow passed Cat. Cluck, cluck, said Cow. Meow, said Cat. It is not you who has my moo, said Cow, and on she went. Cow cooled her feet in the creek. Cluck, cluck, said Cow. Glub, glub, said Fish. It is not you who has my moo, said Cow, and on she went. Cow spotted Duck. Cluck, cluck, said Cow. Quack, quack, said Duck. It is not you who has my moo, said Cow, and on she went. Cow crossed the meadow. Cluck, cluck, said Cow. Ma, said the goat. Oh, it is not you who has my moo, said Cow, and on she went. Mouse darted past Cow. Cluck, cluck, said Cow. Squeak, squeak, said Mouse. It is not you who has my moo, said Cow, and on she went. Oh, here's the little mouse. Cow stepped around Snake. Cluck, cluck, said Cow. Hiss, said Snake. It is not you who has my moo, said Cow. Cow rested under a tree. Cluck, cluck, said Cow. Cheep, cheep, said Squirrel. It is not you who has my moo, said Cow, and on she went. Cow spied Owl. Cluck, cluck, called Cow. Hoo, hoo, said Owl. It is not you who has my moo, sighed Cow. Poor cow. It's frustrating, isn't it? And she headed for the barn. What? The little chicks are following her because she keeps saying cluck, cluck. Cow shuffled past Hen. Cluck, cluck, said Cow. Moo, moo, said Hen. Hen, cried Cow, it is you who has my moo. And the chickies went peep, peep, and they traded their voices. Cluck, said Hen, and moo, said Cow. And they all lived happily ever after in a Vincent van Gogh sky. The end. I think there's a quote by Vincent van Gogh. Oh, this is his famous painting called Starry, Starry Night. Oh, so here's a quote at the front of the book by Vincent van Gogh, a very famous artist, and it says, I know nothing with any certainty, but the sight of stars makes me dream. And don't we love to look up at the stars? and wish upon the stars too. The cow who clucked. Oh, well, that was fun. I have one more story to share. This is a rather grown-up story called Sparky by Jenny Offil and Chris Appelhans. Sparky. Maybe you have a pet or a dog named Sparky. So it's written by Jenny Offil and illustrated by Chris Appelhans. And it's published by Schwartz and Wade Books. Story about a sloth and a little girl. I wanted a pet. A bird or a bunny or a trained seal. I have a friend who has a bunny for a pet. It's really cute. I have a bird for a pet. My mother said no to the bird, no to the bunny, and no, no, no to the trained seal. I asked her every day for a month until she finally said, "You can have any pet you want as long as it doesn't need to be walked or bathed or fed." I made her promise. Then I went to see the librarian. Miss Debbie, who knows everything in the world, pointed me to volume 5 of the Animal Encyclopedia. This is what I found. Sloth. Sloths have been known to sleep more than 16 hours a day. They sometimes hang upside down in trees, barely moving for long periods of time. They survive by eating leaves and drinking the dew that collects on the leaves. It is said that sloths are the laziest animals in the world. It's a bad reputation. My sloth arrived by express mail. He was about the size of a medium-sized dog, with a flat nose and a monkey face. My mother wasn't happy, but a promise is a promise. Do you know what country sloths live in? You'd have to look that up in the encyclopedia. I decided Sparky would be the name. I took him outside to his tree. Sparky went right to sleep. I made a sign and put it under the tree. "Guard sloth, enter at your own peril." Here he is sleeping at night, sleeping in the rain, sleeping. It was 2 days before I saw him awake. That's a long time to sleep. He didn't know a lot of games, so I taught him some. We played King of the Mountain. I won. He just sat there. We played hide and seek, and I won. He just sat there. He didn't hide. We played Kung Fu Fighter, and I won. We played Statue, and Sparky was very, very good. Did you ever play Statue? It's kind of fun. That weekend, my friend Mary Potts came over to investigate. Before she even took off her coat, Mary said, "Let me see your new pet." I had some worries, but I took her out to Sparky's tree. He opened his eyes and looked at us, and then he closed his eyes again. I rubbed his belly, but it was too late. We stood there for a while watching him sleep. His fur ruffled gently in the breeze. "I feel sorry for you," Mary said. "My cat dances on her hind legs, and my parrot knows 20 words, including hello and ice cream." "Sparky knows tricks too," I told her. but she didn't believe me. The next day, I made a poster and nailed it to the tree outside Mary Potts's house. The poster said, "Trained Sloth Extravaganza. Countless tricks to mystify you, just 7 days away." All week, we trained in secret. Sometimes Sparky slept through practice and I had to poke him awake. Sometimes he forgot what he was doing and we had to start over. Sometimes he took so long to fetch that I went inside and had dinner while I waited. I was starting to think the poster had been a mistake, but a promise is a promise. On the day of the Trained Sloth Extravaganza, my mother set up lawn chairs. 3 people came to see Sparky perform. My mother, Mary Potts, and Mrs. Edwin, the crossing guard. Mrs. Edwin approved of Sparky because he never ran in the street. I put up the curtain. "Do I look like a ringmaster?" I asked my mother. "You look very interesting," she told me. Well, she put a colander on her head. I put a little glitter on Sparky just before the curtain went up. I kept wishing I had written 2 tricks on the poster instead of countless tricks. "Play dead, Sparky," I said, and he did. "Roll over," I said, and he didn't. "Speak," I commanded. We all waited and waited. "Speak," I said. Sparky looked at me. The only thing you could hear was the wind in the trees. "He has a very pretty coat, doesn't he?" Mrs. Edwin said finally. "You can't just invent a brand new pet like that," Mary told me. "A pet no one's ever even had." And she walked home. My mother came out with lemonade and cookies, but everyone said they had to be going. Sparky and I watched them. Then my mother made me put the chairs away. Afterward, I gave Sparky a cookie, but he ate it so slowly that I took it back again. It was getting dark out. I looked at him and he looked at me. You could hear all the neighborhood dogs barking. I reached over and tugged him on his claw. "You're it, Sparky," I said. And for a long, long time, he was. I don't know anyone who had a sloth for a pet, but it's a sweet story, isn't it? Okay, well, thank you for listening to Anytime Stories, and if you would like me to read certain stories, just let me know. You could leave a comment below or come to the library and let me know in person. All right, bye. See you next time.